Hello folks, hope everyone's well and staying safe during the year of COVID. Today I'm going to be making courgette and red pepper pen pasta. Penne pasta, pen pasta, penne. I don't speak Italian, I don't know. I think it's penne pasta. My pronunciations are not normally the greatest. So, dead simple one, but bloody flavoursome. So, let's crack on and do this. You have a couple of options when it comes to the garlic. You can either use 2 garlic cloves, or as I'm doing here, you can use a frozen garlic block. On this one, it will be half of a garlic block, which weight-wise comes in about the same weight as 2 large garlic cloves. So that's what I'm substituting in, because I like using them. If you can lay your hands on them, a cannonball onion is the way to go, and if you can't, grab yourself 2 large brown onions and chop them up instead. When it comes to chopping your onion, half it, peel it, and then slice along it up to the root, but not right into the root, and then chop down the sides, as you can see me doing here in the video. Now, as with all meals, it's easier to prepare all your ingredients first and then start cooking. So we're going to store our onion in a bowl, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with a silicone liner that I've managed to get a hold of. I used to use kitchen roll, but these are reusable, so more environmentally friendly, because I'm not binning a bit of kitchen roll after using it, so I've switched to using these. Can be picked up in lots of places. These ones were found on Amazon, I think it was, if I remember right. When it comes to your courgette, we're going to top and tail it, so that's just going to take the tip off and take the root section off, and then we're going to half them. After we've halved them, we slice them down their length, and that allows for easy chopping. What I tend to find works best is a single chop in the centre and then half either side, and then all we do is turn our courgette 90 degrees and chop off in about a centimetre rough width. And that gives us just nice bite-sized pieces. So we'll do that again in a second, and it's down the length of it, then half either side of that length, turn it at 90 degrees, and give it a good chop about a centimetre apart. Safety first, as you can see, I've got my safety glove on there. I like my knife sharp, and I've got a habit of trying to chop my fingers off, so always wear a safety glove, kids. And just like our onions, we're going to store our courgettes for later, so into a bowl they'll go. Once they're all chopped, they'll get covered with a lid just to be kept for later. If you've got a large enough silicone cover, you can use that. Then all we do is repeat the process twice more for our other 2 courgettes and store them in the bowl. I'm not going to show you me cutting all the courgettes up, because that would be boring, so let's jump to the end. So next up, we want to take the top off our pepper and then just rip out the stem. And once we've done that, we're going to just decore it by just putting our hand in and ripping out the core and getting as many seeds out as possible. A wee tip you can do is take your pepper and just tap it down onto your chopping board after you've ripped out the core. It tends to get those last remaining seeds out. Of course, you can leave them in if you can tolerate the heat. We tend to take them out and get rid of all the seeds though. Same with any of the white. I forgot what the white part is, but the white part is where a lot of the heat comes in your pepper. So if you don't like it too hot, rip that out as well. Then we're just going to take in half our pepper, and then we're going to julienne it. So we're just going to slice along its length. And once we've julienned it, we're then going to just turn it 90 degrees again and chop them up. Again, about centimetre roughly wide gaps in your chopping, a bit less than that if you want, and then that's you. As we're cooking them together, just take your pepper and put it into your same bowl that you've got your courgettes in, put a lid on them and store them until you're ready to cook. Now, a handy little thing I tend to do is I freeze my passata. I use ice cube trays, as you see here, which roughly each cube is about half a tablespoon, so 2 cubes gives me 15mm, which then lets me get the right volume I need for any recipe. I do this because passata out of a jar is never the right amount you need for a recipe. This lets me get the right amount anytime I need it. Next we'll prep our basil, 1 tablespoon of dry basil in some sort of ramekin or some other dish to later till when you need it. And into the same dish as our basil, we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And then half a teaspoon of black pepper. And as we're prepping all our ingredients before we start cooking, we're looking for 300 grams of dried penne pasta. 75 grams per person, so you work it out for the amount of people you're making it for, but this dish serves 4. So because I prepped all the ingredients in advance, the passatas had a chance to defrost, and that's us sitting down at just what we expected, 250 millilitres of passata ready for us to start using. So into a large pan, you're going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. This pan, if I'm honest, is probably a little bit large, but my neck size down is a bit small, so it has to be this one I use. Judge it as necessary for the pans that you own. Then bring your oil up to temperature. You're looking for a medium-high heat, so not quite as high as you can go, but a nice medium-high heat before we put our onions in to start frying. And whilst that pan starts to come up to temperature, add 1 teaspoon of salt to another pan where you're going to cook your pasta, along with a splash of olive oil, and then add your water and bring that up to the boil. I tend to take water from my kettle because it just gets up to temperature faster, but depending on the cooker you're using, you might not need to do that. So first thing we're going to add is our onion. Again, just take that, put that straight into your oil once it's at temperature. You'll know it's at temperature when you get that sizzle off it if you put one in to taste it, or you can see the shimmer happening down in the oil when you look down into it. This we're going to fry along with our garlic for 3 minutes. Basically we're looking for the onion to get into that nice soft golden colour. And once your onion is added to the pan, next up, just get your pasta added to your boiling water, and we're going to start cooking that off for about 10 minutes if you like it al dente, 12 minutes if you like it a bit soft. And after our 3 minutes have passed, we're going to add our red peppers and our courgettes. We're going to mix that well, and then we're going to cook for 7 minutes until the courgettes have softened up nicely. And now comes the hard part. We're going to prep our mascarpone. Seeing as we're using an entire 250 gram tub of this, all we have to do is take the lid off and peel back the non-tamper cover that makes sure nobody's been in at your cheese. And then we keep cooking our vegetables until they're ready. And with the help of a silicone spatula, let's just take and put our mascarpone into our vegetable mix and give it a good mix around to get the cheese fully melted in. Once our cheese is melted in, we're going to add our seasoning, so our salt and pepper, along with our basil, and give that a further mix. Once that's fully mixed through, what we do next is take our passata and add that in, and then we're going to bring it up to heat and simmer for 3 minutes. And whilst that simmers for 3 minutes, your pasta should now be ready. So drain that into a sieve, just bung the sieve back in the pot and let that sit there just to let any water drain off. That'll be ready just to serve in a second. That's draining. Make sure you come back and stir again your pasta sauce, because if you're not careful, it can stick and burn on the bottom. So just keep stirring it sporadically, but let some of the water drain through your pasta. Then we can go back and serve the pasta. Now the keen-eyed here will notice I'm actually only serving 3 bowls, but I gave you pasta quantity for 4. That's because I reduced some out when it came to cooking it, just so I had the right amount for us, but the recipe set up for 4. So one of those portions is going to be in the freezer. The even keener-eyed will notice that suddenly there's only 2 bowls. That's because a quick change of plans meant that only 2 dinners were getting served up, and 2 ended up in the freezer. Long story, don't need to go into it. That's what happened. So that's it, as pasta dishes go. It doesn't get much simpler, and it is bloody gorgeous. So enjoy making it yourself. Fresh, light, yummy, dead easy, and as you saw from the other portions, it can be frozen as well. They're going straight in the freezer. So let me know if you make it. Take care, guys. All the best.